Everybody get your fucking hands up.
What is going on, YouTube? This is Gavin21202, aka Gavin, and I know I haven't done a video of me sitting in front of the camera in a long while. It's been about a week actually since I think I've put a video out, but today it's a different kind of video. Today is my top 5 WWE events that I've been to. These are all the tickets from my past WWE events. Let's see how many times. There's 5 right there, the 5 that I went to. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 times I've been to a WWE event. I've been to 15 shows in my life. And first of all, starting it off, we have all the highlights and everything that has happened all written down. So I'm going to let you guys in on all that and let you guys go in, and let's start into it. So the number 5 top show I've been to, and there's a funny story with one. Here is the ticket. As you can see, the ticket is all taped up, and the reason for that being is because these tickets went through the washer. I believe the day I got them, I must have put them in my pocket, went up to my room, and forgot about them. They went through the washer. I had to tape them together. I called. Good thing that the barcode was still intact. The barcode was not ripped, so it was in perfect tact. It didn't get damaged at all, but yeah, this ticket was messed up. So basically, there's a lot of stuff that happened on this show. I'm going to tell you what happened on the show. I saw Heath Slater, Rhino, and American Alpha versus the Usos and the Ascension. Usos and Ascension came out on top. I saw a lot of cool things. I saw Randy Orton. Randy Orton started off that show, and since he started off that show, he was interrupted by Bray Wyatt, and that's when Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton were in their feud, which I believe came to a halt at No Mercy of 2016 that year. That's when he had showed the picture of Randy's. No, that was Roman. I have no idea exactly, but I do know that that's when they were in the midst of their feud, and my highlight of that show was getting to see The Miz's homecoming. That is when Dolph Ziggler came, interrupted The Miz, put his career on the line. If Dolph Ziggler was able to get one more shot for the Intercontinental Championship, The Miz gave him one more shot, Dolph Ziggler put his career on the line. He said that if he gets one more shot at the title, he'll put his career on the line. And yeah, so that was my main focus and my main kind of the biggest highlight of that show for me. That was that one. And then there was a WWE Championship match between AJ Styles and Dean Ambrose, and this was September 27th, 2017. This episode was. It was a title match. This was a SmackDown Live episode. I got to see AJ versus Dean, John Cena on commentary. AJ successfully retained the championship after John Cena was somewhat of a distraction to Dean Ambrose, I believe. I don't believe it was intentional or anything, but AJ Styles did go on to win that match. So a lot of cool stuff happened on that show. So I've been to every show that's came to Cleveland since 2010. Except for one, and that was one with The Rock, where John Cena came back as a rapper. That's the only one that I've ever missed, and I wish I could have gone to that, but sadly I didn't get to go. I had tickets, but I didn't get to go. It's a long story. So that's a long story right there. That's something we'll get into in a whole nother video. But, yes, SmackDown Live 9/27/17 was my number 5 show. So, moving into our number 4 show, I have WWE Monday Night Raw. And some of these tickets are kind of messed up because there was tape on them and a bunch of stuff, and some of them are really old. This was January 27th, 2014. First of all, for the SmackDown episode, I sat section 128, third row, and seat number 2. That's what that one was. Right here was WWE Monday Night Raw. It was January 27, 2017. I sat section 127, row 1, and seat 4. That's what this one was. So I have I always get 4 tickets for each show. So the extra ones are somewhere. I just don't know where they're at. But yeah, the highlights of that show was at the beginning of it, Daniel Bryan came out. Basically what he did was he basically just cooked the Authority. Stephanie, that was the night following the Royal Rumble 2014, and that was actually the day that CM Punk walked out of the WWE. So that made it a lot more special to be there when I found out about that. I believe I found out about that like a year or 2 after I actually went. But, yeah, earlier that day, CM Punk was scheduled to be on that show, but then earlier in that day, CM Punk had walked out of the company and hasn't been seen since. So that's how I can label the fact that I know when CM Punk left. The highlights of that show, for real, there was Miz versus Dolph Ziggler in a battle for Cleveland, where Dolph Ziggler actually defeated the Miz, and then oh, well, someone's here. I think it's my sister or someone. But, yes, Miz and Dolph battle Cleveland. Dolph did win. That was a really good match. You guys can go and check that out. Just search it up. Dolph Ziggler versus the Miz in the battle of Cleveland. Miz is wearing an orange attire. Dolph Ziggler came out actually with the Cavs jersey on, and then Miz came out with the Browns jersey on. But yes, Dolph Ziggler did come out on top of that match. We're done with that piece of paper. And earlier in the night, when Daniel Bryan had interrupted the Authority, the Shield came out and attacked him. And then John Cena and the returning Sheamus actually came back to help him. And then later that night, there was a match announced where the winners of the match, it was the Shield versus Daniel Bryan, Sheamus, and John Cena, where the winners of that match actually got entered into the Elimination Chamber that year. Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family interrupted and gave Cena, Daniel Bryan, and Sheamus the win by disqualification. So they were all entered into the 2014 Elimination Chamber match, which was the last stop before WrestleMania. So that was a very fun show to go to. But moving into the next show. The next show I went to was... My next favorite show I went to was WWE FASTLANE 2016. Right there. I sat section 127, row 1, seat 3. That's what this ticket was. And that was a great show, too. Some of the highlights of that show, I got to see Kalisto and Alberto Del Rio in a 2 out of 3 falls match on the pre-show. Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks defeated Naomi and Tamina. I got to see Kevin Owens and Dolph Ziggler in an Intercontinental Championship match. Sadly, Dolph Ziggler did not come out on top, but Kevin Owens did retain his Intercontinental Championship. And then that was actually AJ Styles' first pay-per-view he was ever on. So it was AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho. That was a great match. Phenomenal touche. That was probably one of the best matches I've actually ever got the privilege to see live. AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho at Fastlane. And then the main event of that show was Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar versus Dean Ambrose, where the winner of that match actually got to go on to face Triple H at WrestleMania 32 for the WWE Championship. Roman Reigns did win that match, and then Triple H came out after, and then they had a face-off in front of a big WrestleMania sign, and then it went off the air. Edge and Christian were there for the Edge and Christian show. The Cutting Edge Peep Show, that's what it was. And the New Day were their guests on there. And then after the New Day went into a match. Oh, wait, no, they didn't actually. The New Day did not have a match on that card. But that was a really cool pay-per-view to go to. I've actually been to 2 pay-per-views. This one and then another one that'll be coming up in this video. So Fastlane 2016, really fun experience. And I hope that a pay-per-view comes back to the Quicken Loans sometime soon. So, my next favorite one, this is actually number 2. It is WWE Monday Night Raw. It was the go-home show for the 2017 Royal Rumble. It was January 23rd, 2017. It kicked off with Roman Reigns starting the show. The shark cage was lowered down the ring because that's when Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens were in their feud, and Chris Jericho was getting locked in the shark cage for their Rumble match. So, that was something cool to see. And then Roman Reigns actually Superman punched Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho was hanging on the shark cage while it was going up, and Roman Reigns Superman punched him off with it. So that was something really cool. What else was on? The highlight of that show was Sami Zayn versus Seth Rollins. Triple H's music actually hit, confused Seth Rollins. Sami Zayn got the roll-up victory, and that match was, if Sami Zayn won, he actually was put into Seth Rollins' Royal Rumble entrant. So Seth Rollins was not in the Royal Rumble that year because of that. And Sami Zayn was. Sami Zayn got Seth Rollins' spot. So that was a great match. There's a pedigree on the ring apron. All of these matches that I've talked about were the highlights of the show and the best matches that were there. So Sami and Seth, there was also a United States title match between Roman Reigns and Chris Jericho, where Roman Reigns actually retained the title, I believe. No. Chris Jericho was the champion at that time, and Roman Reigns won the match, but it was by disqualification. And then the highlight of this show was Goldberg in the ring. It was where Goldberg had his head cut open from headbutting one of the locker room doors or something. And then Brock Lesnar came out and interrupted him. Goldberg was saying about blah, 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 how he was going to win the Royal Rumble and all this stuff. Then after Brock Lesnar came out and got in the ring, out of nowhere, it was a total surprise. Nobody knew that he was going to be there. I called it walking into the arena. I'm like, he's going to be there. The Undertaker's music hit, and we saw the Undertaker come out from underneath the ring, and I got to see Goldberg, Undertaker, and Brock Lesnar all in the same ring at the same time. It was a really cool face-off. You guys can actually go and check out some of these. The SmackDown that I talked to, which was number 5, this one, and the next one I'm going to talk about, there were day in the life videos of. The next one I'm going to talk about, there was just a bunch of separate videos of. But yes, this was a very cool Raw to be a part of, and I hope I get to. That's something that will never probably be seen again. Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, and Undertaker in the same ring. That's probably never ever going to happen again. So that was pretty cool. And then number 1, my favorite show that I have ever went to was WWE Tables, Ladders, and Chairs 2014. As you can see right here, I sat section 127, row 7, seat number 3. And WWE presents Tables, Ladders, and Chairs, blah, 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 hashtag WWTLC. This was on Sunday, December 14th, 2014. The highlight of that show was when the show kicked off with Dolph Ziggler and Luke Harper in an Intercontinental Championship, a ladder match. Dolph Ziggler actually came out the winner, and it was really cool because Dolph Ziggler is from Cleveland, so when he's in Cleveland, he announces that he's from Cleveland. So it was really cool to see Dolph Ziggler win the championship. Another highlight of that show was John Cena versus Seth Rollins in a tables match, where the winner of that match actually went on to face Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble that year. But as we know, it was then turned into a triple threat match. But John Cena actually won that match. In the midst of the match, both Seth Rollins and John Cena had fallen through a table at the same time. So then the match had to be restarted. John Cena got the AA on Seth Rollins, through a table, and won the match. He actually put Seth Rollins through a table earlier in the match, but J&J Security had actually took the broken table when the referee was knocked out, put it outside of the ring, and so then the referee never even knew. So that was cool. And then the main event of that show was actually Bray Wyatt versus Dean Ambrose in a TLC match. Bray Wyatt came out on top after a TV exploded in Dean Ambrose's face. So yeah, Dean Ambrose and Bray Wyatt. Dean Ambrose had jumped off of a ladder that was probably 20 feet through. Put the elbow through Bray Wyatt, who was laying on the announce table at the time. So that was probably my favorite show that I went to. There's probably a couple in there that I've missed since I've been to 15 of them and I only picked 5. There's probably a couple in there that I've missed because the rest of the other shows were pretty cool as well. I've been to some at the Wolstein Center. I've been to some at the Q. Most of them at the Q, but it was this is actually right here was my first ever WWE event. This ticket right here, this isn't one of my favorites, but it was just my first. It was January 24th. 2010, it was at 3 p.m. So that was kind of weird. But, hell, it was a good-ass show. It was in 2010. Yeah. So, Sunday, January 24th, 2010. That was a good-ass show. It was SmackDown and ECW. That's an old ticket. 2010. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you guys all for tuning into this video. Go and check out some of the highlights of that video, you guys yourself. It's really cool. Some of them are really cool. I might, maybe if I remember, I'll put some down and link them in the description, but I probably won't remember. So just look some of them up, and you guys, they were really cool to see. I went to some of them with my brother, some of them with my friends. I went to some of them with my mom and dad. It was just a really fun time. A lot of these were a really fun time to be a part of, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you for tuning into this episode. I hope to see you guys again very, very soon. And without you, I wouldn't be anything, you guys. So thank you for tuning into this video. I love you all. Subscribe. Let's get out of here and hit the intro.